I graduated on a Tuesday in May. Top of my class, finance degree, 3 internships. I had done everything right, and then I opened LinkedIn. It wasn't all at once. That's the part nobody warned me about. It was slow, one job category at a time, like watching the tide go out. First, it was the tellers. My mom had been a bank teller for 20 years. In 2025, her branch closed. She called me crying. I did not know what to say. I applied to 214 jobs in 8 months. I got 11 interviews. 6 of them told me the role had been eliminated before I even left the building. By 2026, the financial analysis firms started closing whole divisions. Not because they were losing money. Because an AI could do in 4 seconds what a team of 30 did in a week. The waiting rooms didn't look like I expected. Lawyers, architects, paralegals, radiologists. Automation didn't just take the low-wage jobs, it took the ones everyone said were safe. I remember sitting on my fire escape in November thinking, what was the point of any of it? The degree? The loans? The internships? What do you do when the thing you prepared your whole life for just ceases to exist? By 2027, governments had a new word for it: structural displacement, which is a very clean way of saying 40 million people woke up and had nowhere to go. My roommate Priya lost her graphic design job in March. By April, the apartment felt different. We stopped buying fresh vegetables. We started having the same conversation every night. What are we going to do? Something strange started happening though. The parks filled up. On a Wednesday, at 2 in the afternoon. I went for a walk one day and the city felt like a Sunday, except it wasn't. Someone in my building started holding weekly meetings. No agenda, just people asking out loud what everyone was thinking privately. I went to mock it. I kept going back. In 2028, the first universal basic resource programs launched. Not money exactly. Housing credits, food access, health care, enough to survive, not enough to pretend things were normal. I cried when my UBR came through, not because I was grateful, because I realized I had spent 23 years building towards something, and the safety net was now the destination. It took me a long time to make peace with that. Priya started volunteering at a community kitchen 3 mornings a week. She said it was just something to do. 3 months later, she knew everyone's name and had learned to make 12 dishes from scratch. Libraries started running skills exchanges. You teach what you know, you learn what you don't. An ex-hedge fund manager taught macroeconomics to teenagers on Tuesday mornings. A retired plumber taught pipe fitting to former software engineers. My neighbor Elena invited me to a free pottery class at the community center. I went because I had nothing else to do. My first bowl looked like a sad puddle. I signed up again the next week. The rooftop garden started as a joke between 4 neighbors. Within 6 weeks, there were 20 people up there every Saturday, not because they needed the food, because they needed something to show up for. The pickup games got more serious without anyone deciding to make them more serious. When nobody had anywhere to be, showing up to a basketball court at 10 a.m. became something sacred. That summer, there were block parties every weekend in our neighborhood. Not organized by anyone, just people opening their doors because the walls of their apartments had started to feel smaller. My neighbor Marcus lost his accounting job in 2026. For a year, he barely left his apartment. Then he started building furniture in his garage. By 2029, there was a 6-month waiting list to get one of his chairs. He charged nothing. He just needed people to want the thing he made. 14 months after I started, I made a vase that didn't collapse. I sat with it on my kitchen table for an entire evening, just looking at it. Nobody had paid me. Nobody had asked for it. I had made something out of nothing just to see if I could. By 2030, the machines were feeding the entire planet. Not approximately. Literally. Every calorie distributed, every nutrient optimized. Hunger, for the first time in human history, became a logistical choice rather than an inevitable condition. The marathon that year had 40,000 runners. No prize money, no sponsors, just a city that had rediscovered what it felt like to do something hard purely because it was hard. The office buildings started being converted one by one. Galleries, climbing walls, rehearsal spaces, recording studios. The architecture of productivity became the architecture of everything else. Priya started teaching cooking classes in one of those converted spaces. 40 people showed up the first week. She hadn't planned it. Someone just asked her to show them what she knew. Somewhere around year 3, I stopped waking up feeling like I had failed. I still had no job. Nothing had gone the way I planned. But the plan, it turned out, had always been the wrong size. The chess tournaments kept growing year after year, not because anyone organized them, because people discovered that sitting across from another human being, thinking hard, losing gracefully, mattered in a way that spreadsheets never had. Every town had an orchestra by 2031. Not professional. Nobody was paid. But they practiced 3 nights a week for 2 years before they performed. That kind of effort changes a person in ways a paycheck never could. The gyms became the new offices, not because people had to go, because the body needs to be asked something difficult, and without work making those demands, people went looking for somewhere else to answer the question. Schools took the longest to change. But by 2032, the curriculum had quietly transformed. Not designed by committee, by the growing reality that children were living in. They were taught to make things, question things, collaborate with people who disagreed with them. Someone asked me to teach. I almost said no. What could I teach? I was nobody. I had no credentials for this. Then I remembered that credentials were the old language. What I had was 3 years of showing up. The theater that opened in our old office park ran 3 shows a week, every seat full, every performance slightly different. Nobody was paid, and the acoustics were terrible. People drove 2 hours to get there. The formal economy had shrunk. But a different kind of economy had quietly grown up beside it. Not money, attention, time, skill. If you could make something or teach something or fix something, you were rich. The Saturday tournaments became the heartbeat of the city. Beach volleyball, cricket, 5-a-side soccer. Nobody won money. Everybody won the week. By 2033, the grief was mostly gone. Not the grief for jobs. The grief for a version of ourselves that measured worth in output. People were still learning to let go of that. Some never entirely did, but most had found something else to hold on to. The machines kept working, silently, without complaint, solving energy, building infrastructure, maintaining supply chains that nobody thought about because they never failed. It was the most efficient thing humanity had ever built, and nobody had to operate it. There was a night in 2034 when the city dimmed its lights for a stargazing event. 40,000 people lay in a field and looked up. I had never seen the Milky Way before. I was 32 years old. I thought about my graduation night, the LinkedIn feed, the rejection emails, the fire escape. I thought about how much time I had spent chasing a version of my life that the world had already moved past, and lying there in that field I felt, for the first time in a long time, not behind, just here. Elena organized the first neighborhood gallery in 2034. She gave wall space to anyone who made anything. A 6-year-old's drawings hung beside a 70-year-old's oil paintings. Nobody cared about the hierarchy. They cared about the walls being full. My 3 pieces were on the back wall. A stranger picked up my first proper cup and held it for a long time. Then she set it down and just said, "This is beautiful." She didn't ask my credentials. She didn't ask what I did. She just said that one thing. The world did not transform overnight. It crept forward one block party and one skill class and one rebuilt relationship at a time. The machines kept running. People kept adjusting. And slowly, so slowly you almost missed it, life started to feel deliberately chosen rather than accidentally inherited. Marathons had quadrupled in participation since 2025. Not one of those runners was paid to be there. They were there because at some point they had asked themselves what they would do with their body if the answer could not be money. And they had found out. The libraries never closed. Not once. Even in the worst years, they stayed open because people needed a place to go where the expectations were simple. Be here. Be quiet or not. Think about something. There is a word for what happened, not utopia. Utopia suggests perfection, which was never the point. The point was that, for the first time, most people spent most of their time doing what they actually chose. That is rarer than it sounds. I opened the studio in 2035. No business plan. No revenue model. The UBR covered rent on the space. I taught 4 days a week and made my own work the other 3. I had 17 students. Most of them were former lawyers and engineers who had never touched clay in their lives. The rooftop garden fed nobody and fed everybody. Every Saturday, there was a meal on that rooftop made from whatever people had grown. No planning. No budget. Just whoever showed up and whatever grew. We used to think that without work, people would fall apart. What we forgot is that people had been falling apart with it. The work had been the distraction. When it disappeared, what was left underneath was each other. I graduated with a finance degree and a plan. The plan lasted 8 months. What replaced it took years to understand. But sitting by that fire, in a life I did not design so much as discover, I would not have traded one page of it. This is what the great unburdening looked like from the inside, not a revelation. A slow, uncomfortable, occasionally beautiful unfolding. The world did not change overnight. It changed one person at a time, in one room at a time, over the course of a decade. The machines are still running. The world is still figuring itself out. And every morning I open a door and people walk in wanting to learn how to make something with their hands. I have nothing more important to do. I cannot imagine a better problem to have.